Yo! This beast is back. He can't seem to get enough of me. Said he was driving down the road, turned the air conditioning on, and he heard a loud squealing noise, and there was smoke coming out from under the hood, and all of a sudden, boosh! All his refrigerant went everywhere. So he's blaming it on the AC compressor. I guess I'm going to put one in it with the receiver dryer. Hopefully he's right. 2000 Sierra 1500. There's 5 15 millimeters for this. I can almost see something. I'm going to take off this tire too. I'll be taking off this inner fender too. A couple of clips here and there. Plastic clips. You just pop out the centers and then they come out. There's a funky little metal pad right here that was irritating me a little bit. There, now I can get at all this stuff fairly easy because there's 2 bolts on the top. There's one here and one over here, and then there's 2 on the bottom. I'm going to start off by unplugging this connector. Yeah, there's no refrigerant in the system. It's illegal to discharge your system into the atmosphere. But I guess, you know, if it happens by accident, it's completely legal and totally fine. So there you have it. There's nothing in this system right now, so I don't have to evac anything. 15 millimeter here. On this 2000 truck, there's 2 different compressors. One of them has 2 bolts on the top for this, and the other one has 1. I think that's the only difference between the 2. And I think there's only 2 different ones. So I'm pretty sure I got the right one. If I was a smart guy, I'd cap off these holes. Just so I don't let any excess air and moisture in there. I just put a loop of black tape around it. There's a little 3/8 square on this tensioner. You just pull down on it. Just a regular 3/8 ratchet. I get that out of the way. Like so. And I got these 2 15 millimeter bolts on the top. I should probably leave one of these in because it's really easy to get at. And I don't want this thing moving around when I'm doing taking off the 2 pot holes. This belt out of my way. Yeah, if you're not replacing the belt too, you can just flop it out of the way and put the thing on without taking off your other serpentine belt. These bottom ones can be fun to get at. Yeah, you won't be able to get it out, but it unscrews. You might be able to get this one with a swivel ratchet. Same with that bolt comes out. Amazing. You know what? I could probably get them from right from the top, right here. Yeah, I didn't have to go underneath at all. Oh well. And there it is. This bolt fell out of the compressor. I just got to make sure I put that in before I squirrel that back down in there. These look a little different, but they're the same. The diameter's the same. Yeah, this compressor's locked right up. It don't move. First thing I got to do is exchange this sensor out of here. There's going to be vacuum in this system. They evac these before they ship them out. So I'm going to want to unscrew this and take one of these caps off of here to get the vacuum out of this, or this plug won't even come out. Ooh, yeah, wow, that's cool. That's always fun. And this side's still got vacuum in it. Get out there. I'll just leave that on for now. Little snap ring here. Try a smaller one. There it goes. Very carefully try to get this out without breaking it. Come on. There it is. Wipe the thing down real good. A little refrigerant oil. There, it's in there. I don't know how much or what kind of oil is in here, so I'm just going to try to take out as much as I can. And there's nothing in this one. That's fun. Usually AC Delco's got a ton of oil in them. I'm going to see if I can get anything out of this thing. There's nothing in here. This thing's bone dry. I got PEG 46 here with dye oil. The system calls for 8 ounces. 6 ounces would probably be okay, but 2 extra ounces ain't gonna hurt anything. So I'm gonna put this whole bottle in there. I'm gonna start by dumping as much as I can into here. I wanna leave about 3 ounces for the receiver dryer, the accumulator. Put this cap back on it for now again, so none of that leaks out. In with the new. Okay, I got that bottom right bolt in there. Got a screwy little bracket in my way here. Got the connectors plugged in, it's all bolted down. I got new sealing washers for this. You always want to put a little refrigerant oil on these too. They seal better when they're oiled. This wire's in my way. So I'll be unscrewing that bracket again. Now I got to try to put this on in such a way to where it doesn't touch, it can't touch this pulley right here, the wires. So what am I going to do? It don't want to fit. I don't know what to do. That's not touching. I think that'll be alright. Now for the accumulator, receiver dryer, whatever you want to call it. You might as well get at this from down under here too. Pull this thing out of the way. Unplug this sensor. This is really rusty. I'm going to hit it with some penetrant. Looks like one of those things that just might want to break on me. There's two 13mm on these lines. Same with this, I'm going to plug off this hole for now. just because I can. Another 13 up here you can't see. 10 millimeter here. High pressure line is in the way, so I guess I'll be unbolting the high pressure line too. There. Now for this bucket of fun, this pressure switch here, this is a 16 millimeter. Put a little lube on this seal. I'm not going to put that on just yet. 10 millimeter on this clamp. I'm going to try to save this insulation. Sometimes it doesn't want to be saved. I'm going to be real careful pulling it apart. I'm just going to start that bolt and I'm going to leave this loose because it's got to turn. There's usually vacuum in these too, but this one didn't make any vacuum noise. I'm going to dump the rest of this dye oil right down this hole. It's reverse Torx. You can try to use a pair of pliers if you want. This is an E7 reverse Torx if you have it though. I can put this thing on. It doesn't need to be real tight. There's an O-ring that seals it. There's already a seal on here. Nice. Try to get a little bit out of my bottle. I don't have a seal for this high side pressure line, so I'm just going to hope for the best. Now I'll be changing out this belt. I could have swore I just had this off. Got to get this little hose thing off of here. 2 hose clamps with regular screws. I should be able to pull this out of the throttle body. Take this off the mass airflow sensor. Sneak this out of here. Like so. Belt routing is right there, so no guessing games with that. And right here there's a 15 millimeter. I'm going to loosen that up and I pull it off of that pulley right there. You just got to get it off the crank pulley. Then this belt comes off. I should be able to put it on from up here too. There's really no good angle for me to show you how to put that AC belt on, so I'm just going to do it. That's the one belt that a lot of technicians try not to look at. They pretend not to see it, so it stays on there forever until it cracks to pieces and flies off. I'll be replacing this fixed orifice tube next. It's always a good idea to do these when your compressor fails, especially, because sometimes there's a lot of crud in them. If these want to break though and they don't want to come off, you're best off leaving it in. So I'm going to try to get this off. Sometimes these nuts don't want to go, and if you force them, you're going to be replacing lines. Feels a little old, crusty, and sticky, but not too bad. Pull that out. There's an O-ring in here. You can replace it if you feel brave. I can tell the fixed orifice tube is here too because there's little dents in the line. Yeah, I can feel it in there. It's kind of in a goofy spot where it's sitting. I see it in there though. Just want to kind of grab it and try to pull this thing out of here. Give it a little twist and a pull. Twist and pull. There it is. That one's actually quite clean. A lot of times there's a lot of metal shavings and stuff in them sometimes. You don't want to put this in backwards either. Make sure you put it in the same way you took it out. Put a little lubricant on that seal. And yeah, it's black. These are color coded, black to black. Pop it in there. I didn't like the way these threads went on and came off either. I'm going to put a little oil on these. Try to match it up with a new one. I found the right size one. That one's going to work perfect. Now the hot and cold line is right in between the fixed orifice tube on this, so don't let it confuse you. The cold side is going to be the accumulator side. So I'm going to hook this up to the low side line. And I just bought this funky contraption. I'm going to see how this works. I got it from Harbor Freight. They're like 20 bucks. It works off of air pressure. That way I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a vacuum pump. I used to use manifold vacuum forever, but then they came up with this thing. I got a pressure regulator I use for all kinds of different stuff. I'm going to plug that in here because I don't know what it's going to do at full pressure, so I'm just going to try to measure this. There's a vacuum, there's pressure and vacuum on the cold side. That's why I'm using the cold side. And actually I can just turn this, open this all the way up and then plug this in. I'm going to turn this thing on. I'm going to spin the dial. Oh, this is wide open. Jesus, this thing sucks. Like literally. I'm going to see what it does with a straight 160 pounds of pressure. Oh, there we go. Oh, that little piece of crap works. Pulled 25 inches. Now I'm just going to leave it sit like that, and I'm going to make sure there's no leaks in the system. I'll let it sit for about a half an hour. Okay, I'll let it sit for a long time. It's holding very nicely. I let it run for a very long time. The pressure stabilized, so all the oil is all circulated really good. It's only 50 degrees outside. That's all I'm going to put in it. The pressure's about right. Once it gets up to 80 degrees with 80% humidity in this state, this high side will climb a lot. And I'm going to call this good. Okay, bye.